May I please just talk about the Occupy protest for a second? I know, I'm sorry, everyone's been talking about it, but it's relevant. We seem to be making massive protests an annual thing. Last year was the G20, this year it's the Occupy movement, so let's just set up some ground rules here. I would like to know why it's so difficult for authorities to just let us sit. We don't riot. We're not rioters. Well, with the exception of Vancouver and Montreal, but they're a different thing. We're lazy. We're Canadian. Yes, there's always an exception, but for most of us, we just drink too much beer and prefer to criticize rather than act. And while a lot of us may agree with the Occupy cause, we don't actually think we're going to change anything. We just want to annoy the government to the point that they might change something. It's passive-aggressive and potentially extremely effective. So are they really going to evict us? Disband a chapter of an international protest because we're annoying them? Are you kidding me? I mean, G20 was only last year, but it left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. Harper took the world's leaders and put them all in one building, and then picked a building located in the most densely populated area of Canada's 9,984,670 square kilometers, and then paid for it with $1 billion of our tax money. Oh, and then temporarily passed legislation saying we couldn't come within 5 meters of their protective barrier without losing our civil rights. It's not really fair, is it? But you know what? We'll let it go. What's done is done. But if we're all going to make this freedom of speech thing a habit, let's set up some ground rules with our elected leaders, shall we? If we are peacefully protesting in a public area, one that we as taxpayers are entitled to be in, you can't remove us. You are just the middleman. We own Queen's Park, not you. We own Toronto, not you. If we are peacefully protesting, particularly in large quantities, if our placement and intention is of political and social nature, if it's only for the betterment of this nation in mind, and most importantly, we're not hurting anyone, we have the right to be there. Just as people who disagree with us have the right to be there and protest our protesting. It is possible to express conflicting views without physical conflict. I can think of a few interesting people who shared that view. Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., Mandela, Biko. In fact, I think Pearson may have won a Nobel Peace Prize for playing with that idea, or have we just been in Afghanistan too long? Speaking of 60s prime ministers, Trudeau said the government has no place in the bedrooms of Canadians, and besides using our money to keep it clean, what business does it have in our parks, or particularly our civil acts of protest? This country is ours. Its future is ours. We are individual people who vote because we want to say in how it's run and where it goes. But if we come together as a collective because we want a louder say, you don't get to shut us down because we're ganging up on you. Do I think anything massive is going to come of this protest? No, not really. But between G20 and Occupy, at this point, I'm down with whatever annual protest there is. Just to remind our government, in case they've forgotten, we still have freedom of speech in this country. Think about it.